Right, good evening everybody. It's a daily vlog live. Thank you for joining me. We're going to talk about a few things this evening. We've got Tiger Woods' clubs. We're going to talk about those, which should be fun. We're also going to talk a little bit about... We've got a couple of questions actually from... Let's see if we can find them here. One from Callum, which we're going to deal with. Right, sorry, here's the one from Callum. This little intro just dropped randomly in there halfway through chat. I am getting used to the software. Which we're going to talk about this evening. And we've also got one from, where is it here? We've got one here talking about, should we join golf clubs? When should we spend the money to join golf clubs? That one from Andrew as well, which we are going to talk about. So lots to do this evening. We've got our normal freeway cameras. This one might be a bit laggy on audio, which we'll try and work out. We've got chat going on down in front of me as well. And we've also got good old putt cam down here as well. So we might just hit a few putts because it's always good just to practice your putting. So the chat room's kicking off. Good evening, everybody. Morning, evening, bra, Jimbo, SPR. Nike, Mike, Taylor Irons, I think. Custom Shop, ALT Golf. Hi, Mark. Hello. Greets from Germany, like the new camera views. Flo EB. Hello. So let's kick us off. Look, it was an image that was, or a tweet that kicked this off actually for me today from the fantastic guys at My Golf Spy. Mind playing tricks on me. Hashtag Nike made, and the image that goes with that tweet, I don't know if they made it, someone made it, that was the image. I don't think that is what the clubs actually look like. So we've got Tiger Woods phase 1 irons. He was, I think, tweeting about it. He was tweeting about these irons, and it kind of led me on to think about the ongoing conversations that we have about ideas of custom fit and why can't manufacturers make clubs that or why can't the players use the clubs that the manufacturers make already? So if you think about it, there's a few ways you could kind of look at that. So if you think about Tiger Woods is obviously a flagship player for Taylormade, and they've got some great bladed irons in their range. The P series of irons, I think, are some of the best irons Taylormade have made in that better player iron bracket and crossing over for years. I thought they were really good and think they're really good still. But there isn't an iron that Tiger wants to hit, which is kind of a bit of a funny brand message, isn't it? Here we are with this brand, we make uber amounts of irons. Well, they've got 5 or 6 ranges of irons in their range, but there isn't one that Tiger wants to hit. So lots of people will look at Tiger. They'll look at Tiger for what he's using. It'll often be one of those big kind of talking points. But I wouldn't see it as a negative. I personally think all manufacturers are doing this to a certain extent. I certainly know Titleist in the past, I don't know if they still do, have had a driver, is it a D4 that you can't particularly buy, which is tour use only for that golfer that they pay and sponsor, that wants a driver to just perform in a different way than the models they've got. So it's not really different with this. I mean, the biggest thing that I get from these kind of images of these irons is the importance of custom fit. It's the importance that Tiger, I think, is showing to you as a player, hopefully, and someone who's watching, is the importance of getting something that fits their game, something that is right for them. And it doesn't matter if the brand doesn't supply what they need. Obviously for you, you'll choose a different brand because you can't get specially made gloves. This guy's got a brand alliance, he's paid, so he's going to get one that's made specifically for him. Tiger irons were forged by Endu. See, these conversations go on, not Miramar. Nike irons custom grind from Endo. Golf WRX killed the Miramar thing. Miramar was back in the Mizuno days. You see what I mean? I thought the Nike irons he played were actually Miramar. So people... Hi Mark, do you know why Nike stopped making irons? Timothy Charter. Yeah, I presume they couldn't make any money from selling golf clubs. And that leads me on to another point that I think this whole debate opens up, and that is actually the importance that these manufacturers put on these kind of players for playing their clubs. If it comes to a state where the player has to have a specially made club, it kind of does lead your idea on to thinking, well, aren't the clubs in their normal range good enough? Why are we having to have a special one? Shouldn't I have a special one? Which I think has some merit to it. But again, for me, this leads me back to the idea that I wish and hope and pray that you all go get lessons and get custom fit. I think it's really the key for you getting something that's going to work for your game best. Tiger's a very specific talent. He's got obviously a determination in his mind as what he wants to use. He's going to bring baggage of winning tournaments and succeeding with a certain club. He's then going to bring baggage of wanting to get paid for his amazing exposure, which is correct. But then the manufacturers that keep a player like that are going to have to do what they say. They're going to have to bend over and build clubs that suit them as best as possible. It's pronounced Nike, bruh. Nate Gate. Yes, it is. It's so hard for the English guys to say. Nike makes us sound not like we're English, but I agree it is. I know it is. Someone who actually works for Nike told me it was Nike. Hey Mark, Steve from Swindon checking in. I booked my wedge fitting after watching your vid with Voke. Excellent, Steve King. And if you're booking your wedge fitting, hopefully it's with Titleist. I love my Vokies and he was a great guy, but if it's with any manufacturer, whatever best for you, getting fit for wedges is as key as anything. Got some great videos coming next week, more with Vogue talking about Tiger and Lee Trevino and Sevi, and some testing they did with like Jeff Ogilvy as well. Again, same idea as players who are contracted to other companies but still choosing to use a club that suits their game, what they think, in a better way. So post comments down below. Hit that comment section up down below. What do you think of the whole Tiger Woods playing really a Nike iron with Taylormade stamped on it? Does it feel like cheating? Does it feel like desperate from these companies? Does it feel like a bit desperate? Taylormade, we'll pay you all some money, but you won't use any of our irons because you obviously don't think they're good enough, so we'll make you one that's more similar to, in this instance, a Nike one. I don't think that. I think there's always going to be an element of a massive brand like Tiger just getting whatever he wants. And Taylormade wanted to be part of that because they would want to be part of his ongoing success, I would say. So post comments down below. Remember to hit that thumbs up button if you haven't hit the thumbs up button already. And also, if you like the vlogs and you like the lives, this is a daily vlog live, slightly different. It's up here. Hit that subscribe button. That one won't work, but there's one down there you can hit if you're liking what's going on with the channel and the ever developing content that we like to deliver. Yeah, it comes down to money. Cool 4C. I think ultimately the blade, not much of a difference between companies. Interesting point. Yeah, there's some truth in that and not. Team Taylormade. Agreed. Look at what he has done for Bridgestone balls. Stanley Nooch. Just bought a Scotty Cameron Newport 2. I'm in love with it. Your videos help me choose. Thanks, Mark. How long have you got fit for it, Alex? That makes me happy. New vlog coming soon. Yeah, always vlogs coming. That's been happening for years. Cross merchandising. Did Bridgestone not make his Nike balls years ago? And also Titleist balls branded Nike. I don't know about that, Jonathan Dobson, but yes, cross branding has happened. Some of the stuff I see out on tour ranges and stuff, and from tour reps telling me that clubs, certain kind of branded up players are using, which aren't within brand and on brand. Me and Matt have seen it when we've gone to events with players from Mizuno to Callaway to everything. So it's yeah, it's a very common thing. So post comments, I'd love to hear what you think. I think it's much more of a kind of testament for me really about the importance of custom fit for the individual, even when they've got all that choice. I think it's time for a bit of putt cam, and don't be afraid or don't be shocked. I'm going to hit 3 putts. Post in the comment section down below. Look at my slippers. Got my Iceland slippers on. Post comments down below out of these 3. How many am I going to hold with the custom shop? A bit of fun. Before we get into the next 2 questions, always good just to practice a bit of putting wherever you can. So out of 3, come on, how many am I going to hold? I didn't do so well at this last time. The pressure's very different when you're all watching. There's one. Oh, I'm feeling better now. That's up. Yep, that's two. Will I hold the third? I can't see your comments, but I'm sure you're all saying none. That's in. Oh, yes! Yes, please. Yes, please. 3 out of 3. Who put 3 out of 3? Come on. Let's hear ya. Where are you, everybody? 3 out of 3. Douglas McCann, 2. 3 I got. Eel Beaverson Golf, 2. 3. Logan Maffney, 3. That's the boy, Logan. Logan's my man. Matt Proud, 3. Kevin Livingston, you're absolutely right. Player. Post comments actually, is this camera lagging on audio? This camera, is my audio not in sync with my mouth? Post comments down below or in the chat, let me know. And I won't go to it as much if it is, because I do quite like this angle. You get to see, I keep doing that. This side, isn't it? My lovely Gretch. Right, should we get into some of the questions then? So first question from Callum here. This is a great question. No lag, audio is good. It's good. Audio is good. No lag, it's fine. Thank you. Camera is fine. Great. Okay, so there was a mic one there. Nice mic. Thank you. Callum, how you doing, Callum? Nice. We met Callum, I think, at London Golf Show. Was it, Callum, when you came for a lesson? Hope you're doing well. Lovely guy, works in the forces. Doing a great job. Thanks, Brett. Oh, I've not brought up your pick. There is your question. How has the change to Titleist affected your golf? If at all, question mark. What changes have you noticed in your all-round game? Good question. So a few points. Let's talk about a few things. So first thing I think to notice, if we go to the putter, which I think was a bit of a standout change. So there it is down there, the Scotty Cameron. I've really enjoyed the switch. I've had good moments with it. I've had not so good moments with it as well. Obviously, that change did make a massive difference instantly. And then I've had not so good times with it as well, which you might have saw in Turkey, as well as good times in Turkey with it as well. We filmed a course vlog not recently with Kevin Harper, which you'll see soon, and one at Salton, which you'll see soon, which was pretty good. So I would say very positive on that effect, but obviously golf's always going to win. If we go to driver, I've got him here actually. So my driver, I've gone down. So I start with a 9.5. I'm now down to around 8.5. Titleist 917 D2, so I've got it set at D1, which just reduces the loft down a little bit. This one, my driving's kind of as good as ever, even though I did play the other day, which you'll see on a vlog. My driving was a little bit mental. It came right at the end, but I always get the odd one. Really enjoying this. I like the classic shape. I like the sound, stroke, feel. And down now at the loft, I'm getting a little bit more rollout, and absolutely enjoying that one. Rinky Dinks obviously hasn't changed. Power hybrid, loving power hybrid. I would say I'm actually better with power hybrid. D1, so just bringing the loft down a little bit from 19. It's not as fadey as my old power hybrid. It's straighter and I feel like I can move it both ways. So I would say this is a victory for me. So I actually enjoy getting power hybrid. For me at the moment is starting to get a little bit more in line with Rinky Dinks. Like, I'm not really worrying which one I go for, which one I pull, which I think is quite interesting. So I am actually enjoying power hybrid. I think that one's a win. If we go to the irons, so the irons are not a massive change, but I wouldn't want them to be because my Mizunos were good as well. I love the shape of these. I love the feel of them. I've always liked the shape of Titleist irons. So I would say they're in a par with where I was with my Mizunos. My distance control hasn't changed. The numbers are very much in the slot. I would say they're slightly smaller down at the ball, so they make me feel even more of a player. But then drop-offs and distance on miss hits is no different. So performance-wise, again, it's on me as much as anything. So I wouldn't say I'm any better with these, but I'm just as bad, stroke just as good. And if we go to the wedges, I've actually got some new wedges. Everyone who's posted comments for the wedges, I'm getting some new darker versions of these wedges. So I'm absolutely loving my SM7s. I'm quite enjoying having the same wedges through the bag. So 3 of the same. I like the blend where I had a bit of a kind of mix of wedges before. I do really like the 56 in this. I'm tending to use that for everything. I'm struggling a little bit with my 60, so I need more work with this one. I'm just not as confident. But I am finding I just go to my 56 a bit more. But I would say my chipping has got a slightly better with these. But then again, I wouldn't say my scores as a whole have got particularly any better. I wouldn't say I'm a better player because of my tighter sides. I just feel like I'm in a better place with my equipment, feel more comfortable with it, but I wouldn't say my scores are any lower. So it's interesting how you would reflect on if you're better or not. I feel in a better place. I wouldn't say my scores are any particularly better, apart from then when obviously custom shop is turned on. I saw someone there mention any CBs in the long irons. Chip Thompson. Yes, I have a 5 iron. This is actually a good change for me. I have a 5 iron in a CB. Again, I'm actually loving my 5 iron. My 5 iron feels more like something I really want to hit, where it was a club I would avoid a little bit because it was the true blade when it came to my old set. My old sets of clubs, this is what's interesting with me. My old sets of clubs, so people will send me clubs to try. Ones would stay in my bag that I particularly liked. They were custom fit for me, but not always like just perfectly. I didn't take any time on them. It's very nice having this very thought out, took the time to get them fit, did the right thing, which is kind of what Titleist is all about. I'm not saying that Mizuno aren't, but obviously my bag was very mixed before. So it is very nice having this very thought out bag. It does make me feel a little bit more professional, makes me feel a little bit more consistent through my bag. So I play consistently bad on days and I play consistently good, but the performance of the clubs is kind of solid. And then one last thing, I am really enjoying having, we'll go to this camera on this one because it's a little easier to see. It focuses sometimes. I'm loving the face on the ball. Not I didn't like the old face on the ball, but I'm loving that face on there. I think just looks really quite cool. And I am liking the feel of the Pro V1X. I'm back because it's the ball I game for the most time probably out of playing on YouTube. I am really enjoying going back to that ball. Again, not really reflecting so much in the scores, but I am enjoying its feel and I love the way it looks. I mean, the Titleist balls do just look cool, don't they? It's just that logo, and I love the way they put the face on does look fantastic. I actually use my glasses sometimes to point it in general directions when I'm putting. I quite like looking back. I was about to say this out loud, aren't you? I quite like looking back at myself. I just think it's funny. Where the other one, it was it wasn't so clear, if you like, stand out as that one. So, how often should you play to your handicap? Question going into before we go on to the next question. Well, you can play to it once out of 10 times and get cut and stay in it. So, or you can play to it every time, and it didn't matter. Sorry, wrong camera. People are saying that I didn't switch the camera. Look. There's the ball. Thanks everyone in chat. Let's see if we can get it to focus on that. Get me out of the way. There you go. That's what I'm loving with that one. How clear that comes out. Sorry, I didn't flip the camera over there. So, am I a better player or not? No. Do I feel more comfortable with my equipment? Yes. Do I feel more like I've got a sensible fluid set? Absolutely. And that's, I think, one of the bonuses of if you can go with one manufacturer, it's very easy to sync it all through as long as they've got, like MBCBs or AP1s, which they all have. Like, Taylormade would have their different Ps, but you just got to make sure those lofts aren't getting too crazy as you go through them. Callaway have the different Apex Pros, those kind of ideas. Again, you just got to watch those lofts. That's kind of ideas. But good question, Callum. I kind of witted on, but answered it maybe just in the end. Right, last question here. Andrew posted the question earlier. Why should I have to spend up to over 1k on membership in order to have an official golf handicap? Why should I have to be a member of a club to take part in competitions? Surely there must be a better way to do this and involve people more. That is a good question. And this question, I reckon, is a little bit inspired by some of the very bad press clubs are getting at the moment. Reference one person's plight, which I can't comment on it because I've not really looked into it enough. on the surface it looks pretty awful, but I don't want to. It's not for me to. I'll let that fly. I'd not really done any research on it to have a good enough opinion on it. Hello from Carlsbad. Hello. Hashtag Team Titleist. Hello, Tom. So, should beginners use Titleist Club? Jazz Hammond. Yes, you can, because they make clubs for every bracket. You could have AP1s, for instance, Jazz. So, why should I have to spend money? So, post comments down below. I'm pretty sure, and I'm out of the handicap game and membership clubs kind of ideas for years, but I was under the impression you could get a handicap and you didn't have to be a member of a club. I was under the impression that you could get a handicap. There were different ways of doing it with the English Golf Union, or is it the RNA? But post comments down there. I know there's certain websites that do handicaps. How official or even how well respected they are, I don't know. You would have to maybe phone up the golf clubs that you're trying to play to ask if they would take those handicaps. Having to spend money to join a club, it's a difficult model, this, okay? So it's a difficult one to get your head around. I see big problems in golf, both sides, when we start talking about making golf more accessible and friendly for more golfers, which I'm really keen to do it. But then there's a flip side to it as well, because you start bleeding into the slow play questions, you start bleeding into the courses being too busy questions, which then also bleed into too many courses closing down questions, which all really kind of contradict each other and get messy. E.g., you used to run an associate system that got you a handicap, but they scrapped it. Cool, that's seeing Peter Carter Brown. Thanks, Peter. That's a shame. I remember that one happening. Being a member can work out cheaper than green fees if you play a lot. Gareth Brown, absolutely. Here in Sussex, you can now get a country membership. Over 100 clubs and very reasonable. This year cost me £740, which is fantastic. I play off 9, I'm 16. That any good? On what irons do you recommend? Harry, go and get a custom fit, mate. So you get golfers saying, so I see it a lot on social, look, my club's too busy, I can't get a tee time at the weekend. How's that meant to grow the game? Those kind of ideas. Well, if your course is busy, that means lots of people are playing, so that's a good thing, isn't it? That means if you want golf to grow, then your course is only going to get busier, is it not? That one kind of confuses me a little bit. So as golf tries to find its place in being accessible while at the same time it's an expensive sport, while at the same time still trying to hang on to its image with etiquettes and gentlemanly manners, for want of a much better term than that, male and female manners, it struggles to know its place, because I've seen golf clubs go uber expensive and exclusive, and that really works for them as a business model, and it helps them flourish, helps them have great courses. The members and the visitors enjoy these great facilities, but obviously it's more exclusive, so it's smaller numbers. And then I've seen flip side to golf clubs opening themselves up to loads of anyone can play. Course gets more traffic. If a course gets more traffic, it tends to deteriorate in its condition, which then starts having a negative effect on it, then the business and green fees it takes. So then it's stuck between wanting loads of green fees, but they start dropping off because people don't think the course is good enough. Well, and then if you don't let enough people in, they'll start moaning because they can't get green fees. So there's this real funny kind of catch-22 that I see golf in, and I don't have the answer. To be honest with you, my business head, if I was starting a golf course tomorrow, a bit of land, and I had money to start a golf course, I personally would probably go as a business mind for the uber exclusive way. And I think as a business model that would work. But as a golf pro and a golfer who loves giving out free content to try and keep it accessible and fun for everyone, that goes against everything I would want golf to be. But I've worked at public courses, and when they get busy, it takes a lot of money to marshal them. People need a lot of looking after to keep the pace of play going, so you don't upset the people who are on it. I don't know the answer. I do think it's a massive shame with handicaps. I think handicaps need to be away from golf clubs. They need to be just a thing. But then I've also seen the flip side of handicaps not being controlled very well. And it does start ruining things for a lot of people. If you take it into when I was an amateur, entering big amateur events, British amateurs, English amateurs, these kind of things, I saw I would play with people who would have handicaps that got them into the event, but I would question their ideas of how good they are around those handicaps and even how well that handicap was being policed, subject to their performance and what I knew of them maybe in some other events. So when handicaps move away from clubs and then not being policed correctly, that then leads into problems at every level of the game when it comes to competitions, wrong people winning. It's a very tricky one, but I do feel like golf would be better if the handicaps were more accessible, and definitely if there were more competitions for people to play in without being members of clubs. But then I would worry how clubs would then maybe survive, and if clubs don't survive, I would then worry how English golf survives. So you want people winning majors. You want Justin Rose, English golfer. He has gone through a club system with official handicaps through tournaments. All the best players that you see representing England are not coming through a floating handicap, floating club members. They are going through the club membership route, which is a good thing, but also a bad thing because golf tends to be very middle class to upper class, even in the top pro ranks. So it's not like, say, athletics or football, which is then more accessible, and you get more diverse levels of class, for want of a better word, coming through and competing. That's just a ramble. I haven't got an answer for your question. It's a good question. Post comments down below. Let's hear what your answers are to Andrew's question. I totally hear you, Andrew. But there are two sides to that story, or that question, that need to be thought about for that question to work properly. Otherwise, what happens is some of the pitfalls, like I've said, that I've mentioned there. Post comments down below. I'd love to hear. And in the chat. Let's see if anyone in the chat's got the growing a game other than your content, which is great for this. A price, what do you think can make playing golf more attractive and accessible to a wider audience? Different rules or fashions? DJ Shoots. Very good question. One that can't be answered on the time I've got left in this feed. Again, it leads to, I think, it's a difficult one. Golf says it wants to be more accessible. Golf says it wants to be appealing to more people, but then golf constantly moans about female golfers, senior golfers, men golfers, junior golfers. So golf wants all these things, and then sometimes when it gets it, it doesn't know how to deal with it and ends up not wanting it. So I want it, and I don't know how to get it. I think it's a tricky one, and I can't really. I would love to be involved in any kind of forums or go to any meetings where people are talking about ideas, because it's a tricky one. Again, I'd love to hear yours. Does America do it better at promoting golf better than here? Out golf. I don't know what the statistics are for population to percentage of golfers in America for population to percentage of golf, say, in the UK. I don't know if that's how you would measure it. I guess that's how you would. I don't know if they do it better. My experiences of golfing in America, me and Matt have noted on it a few times. People wearing jeans, people driving around in buggies with music on. It's having beers, it's having cigars, it's playing with your friends. It seems like a very good social activity, and the snobbery isn't there. So it would be interesting to know the numbers in America to the UK, and then the UK could think, right, that's working for America, to take that snobbery, make it more fun, make it more of a kind of a day out with a bit of music and some beer, and I don't know why cigars, they smoke cigars, I think that's gross, but anyway, that's what they do. If they've got better numbers, maybe that's one of the reasons. That would be quite an interesting question to ask. I'm not the best man. I don't know the answers to that question, unfortunately. Junior golf in the US is pretty supported well. Tom Ow, yeah, that's a good point. 6-hole rounds. Peter Borchers, I think that says. Now, How many of you are watching the Golf Sixes or even care about it or care who wins? Obviously, the players don't care that much about it because the field isn't exactly massively strong, the world's best, is it? I think it's a great idea. I think it's got lots of potential. I also not sure golf needs reinventing for me. Golf is a great game. When you start shortening it, for me, it would make it less fun. I like the fact that it's 18 holes. Obviously, getting it shorter for people with time constraints, I get all that, and if that works and it grows it, then we'll go that route. That's brilliant. For me, I think it's worse personally. I don't know if it's better or worse for golf as a whole. Is it the same here in Australia? Super casual sport, Chris? No, it's very uncasual here in the UK. Too much snobbery still. Why? Toby Goodwin. Again, Toby, I think that leads to my ideas around golf doesn't want to give up what it likes, which is that kind of club, private, well looked after, supported with money, atmosphere, which then breeds often, not always because plenty of clubs get out of it, this kind of snobbery attitude around being a member of the club to people who aren't a member of the club, possibly. Snobbery from the older generation, Lockie Army, Luke Morley. Finish on that one from the comments. Great one. Right, I'm going to get 3 parts to finish. I want you to post comments down below. Let me know if you like the live streams, live daily vlogs. Daily vlog coming at you tomorrow with Aidan is back for his part 2 of the journey. He has actually got cut. He needs to work on his driver, so I'm working with Aidan tomorrow. I will film it. You'll see it in the daily vlogs as well, which will be fun to see how he's doing. So come on in that comments. How many am I going to hole out the 3? What have you got for me? How many are going to be holed? And do you reckon we can improve Aidan's driver tomorrow? Looking forward to seeing Aidan from the journey. Already booking people in for round 2 of their lessons with the journey. Can't wait to see how they're all getting on. They are contacting me, messaging me, letting me know. There's 1. Oh, we're not going to have another 3, are we? Oh, there's 2. Come on. Oh, it's 3. That is a custom shop extravaganza. What will you be putting in? Matt Proud, 3 putt. Yep, Matt Proud's got the confidence. Good boy, Matt. You've got that right twice now tonight, I think. Wayne Grundle's 2-stroke 3. That's not a guess. Jimbo, 3 again. Yes, my please. Your carpet has a break. It does, Alan. It has a break. Right, thanks for watching. Post comments down below. I'd really love to hear your thoughts on if memberships, opening it up, not handicaps, because it's a very complex one down there. I would love to hear. Can't wait to hear what you've got to say. Hit that subscribe button as always, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.